The terrorism we are witnessing today comes from imperialism, and we are fighting it. Burkina Faso's president, 37-year-old Captain Ibrahim Traoré, told Vladimir Putin on May 10. The Russian president assured him, "We are united by a common goal of fighting terrorism and extremism. We will continue to help the republic in suppressing the radical groups in Burkina Faso." The leaders met in Moscow a day after attending the Victory Day parade on May 9. No European heads of state participated, except for a few nations. Referring to the war in Ukraine, the EU issued a warning. The US had also boycotted the commemoration. In defiance, state heads from 27 countries gathered, mainly from the global south. Traoré was among the most popular attendees, widely discussed in the media. He is compared to Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara. Traoré took power after the ouster of France-backed President Roch Kabore. He ordered the French troops out in January 2023, ensuring their withdrawal by February. The popular military government of its northern neighbor Mali had also expelled French troops earlier. Later in July 2023, Burkina Faso's eastern neighbor Niger also took the same route. When threatened with war, Mali and Burkina Faso went to Niger's defense. The military pact between the three made way for the establishment of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. People of the three countries can now travel without passports across the borders, largely secured by the joint efforts of their defense forces under AES. To disrupt their stability, France is arming and financing the terror groups, which it helped spawn across the region by destroying Libya in 2011, the AES has accused. The terrorists are reinforced by many foreign fighters and trainers, Traoré reiterated in an interview he gave jointly to RT News and Sputnik during his visit. But what is their interest? Asked the interviewer. It's not really terrorism, it's imperialism, Traoré replied. Their goal is to keep us in a state of permanent war so that we cannot develop and they can continue to plunder our resources. In a move against this plunder, Traoré has nationalized the country's main gold mines, valued at $80 million United States dollars. His government has established a state-owned mining company to which foreign corporations mining in the country, including Russian Nordgold, are required to share a 15% stake in their local operations, in addition to transferring technical know-how to Burkinabes. To break out from the bottom of the value chain by expanding beyond the production of only raw materials, Traoré's government has set up Burkina Faso's first gold refinery and plants to process agricultural produce like tomatoes. Farmers are supplied with tractors and fertilizers to increase agricultural output. Acknowledging that Russia's wheat donation in 2023 was used to feed displaced Burkinabes, Traoré added in his interview, "We made a promise to President Putin that we no longer wish to be supplied with wheat because we are going to produce the wheat. And I'll keep this promise because we have started to produce the wheat in sufficient quantities to satisfy the local demand." Further, his government disallowed ownership of farmlands by foreigners, reportedly nationalizing all rural land this February, less than a year after limiting the private ownership of urban real estate to prevent land grabbing and speculation. Airport infrastructure is expanding. Mobile clinics have been set into motion to improve healthcare access. In a step toward breaking free from CFA franc, his government launched a national postal bank. This aims to reduce dependence on this neo-colonial currency through which France wields influence. These measures have won him praise and support across Africa and for young black people in the US and UK. Western media has also begun to acknowledge his growing influence. Everyone who has experienced racism, colonialism, and slavery can relate to his messages, said Beverly Ochieng. Enoch Randy Akins claims he is, arguably Africa's most popular, leader. However, these policies have provoked the domestic and global elite. Earlier last month, AFRICOM's commander accused Traoré of misusing gold reserves. Traoré retorted that Burkina Faso has accumulated gold reserves for the first time. Langley's statements were seen as a classic maneuver from the US regime change playbook. Langley visited Ivory Coast, a government hostile to Burkina Faso. Another coup attempt against Traoré was foiled, rallying thousands in support. His popularity was evident in Moscow as Africans living there took selfies with him. Soon after he descended the red-carpeted stairs from a Russian jet on May 9, clad in his combat fatigues with a holstered sidearm. On his visit to Mendeleev University of Chemical Technology of Russia, MUCTR, African students welcomed him with a standing ovation. There are young talents, inventors, and scientists in our country, but sometimes they lack the mathematical knowledge to perfect their invention. Science and education is our fundamental objective. But if we have branches of Russian universities, or develop cooperation in some other way, then young people will have everything they need to study. He reiterated this in his meeting with Putin later that day, attended also by Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, its Minister of Economic Development. Traoré told them that, in addition to defense and security, there is another important sphere, namely, science and education. We would like Russia to help us educate our young people and teach them science so that we can develop our own production, industry, and engineering. Calling for the opening of branches of Russian universities in Burkina Faso, he stressed, this is our fundamental objective. Unaware of their colonial history, many Africans are still asleep. Putin opened this meeting after welcoming the Burkinabe delegates by acknowledging their country's role in the victory over Nazism. About 30,000 people from modern-day Burkina Faso fought as part of the anti-Hitler coalition. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder. And when they returned, they were killed like animals by France for demanding their own country's independence. All of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand. Because there are still many who are asleep, and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Now, since you watch this far, please subscribe to my channel. That's helped to keep me going. Thank you so much and see you to the next video.